So let's talk about the type of dimension we're going to be working with array here. So we're going to be having one-dimensional array and two-dimensional array. There's also three-dimensional array, but for the scope of this course, we're going to be really talking about one-dimensional array and two-dimensional array. So we can say one-dimensional array is just like we have it in this format here, my array then set to like a form of list of an of this. And we're going to have two-dimensional array is just like our index, and we can see we have a bracket, then we have like subset of those brackets inside, and we can write it like this in way to understand it more and better. You can write it this way for us to understand it. So let's start coding this and start seeing how this work while using Python. So let's head over to Jupyter Notebook and see how this works. Jupyter Notebook is just it's just an IDE. I can say we use for data scientists and machine learning problem. You can use any other IDE you have like PyCharm or VS Code. So that will work well for you. You just have to use pip install numpy. Then all you just have to do is pip install numpy. Then after this, you have to import numpy. That's all you have to do. So, and we are going to get started. So we are talking about dimension arrays here, and we have a function in yours. Okay, let me have this as text. We have a function in numpy, and that's the array function. We have the array function in numpy, and this array function is used to create an array. Is used to create an array from a list. So how does this work now? So let's say we import numpy now as np. Okay, when we import numpy now, this is how you just like import numpy and it works well here. So let me just comment it here to importing numpy library here. So import numpy as npm. So now what do we do now? Let's say we have my array here equals to np dot array. So we are calling that function now, which talk about it, the array function. So we can just np dot array now, then we have the list here. So we can just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is just like one-dimensional array now, as you've seen before. So I could just print out this my array. So if I should run this now, you see here now we have this now. We have it printed as one-dimensional array. So this array now has converted this list into an array. So if you should print out, okay. So one of the attributes we have in NumPy is using the dimension, the size, and things like that. So we can print out my array now dot what dot okay ending. That's dimension for dimension now. Should print it out like this. Now you see we have it as one. That's one dimension. That means this is telling us that this array here is one dimensional array. So let me run this again. So now we have this now. These are array now. It's telling us that it's one dimensional array. So this is our one dimensional array is, and this is how we are going to have one dimensional array. So let's work with various attributes of this array now. So we can just print out like okay, attribute now. Attribute of an array. Then we can have like okay. So the first attribute we have is the dimension, right? We have dimension here. So we have dimension equals to now, and let's have it as my array dot ending. Okay. Then we also have the shape, right? We have the shape. I have this as okay. Let's say we have it as my array dot shape. Then we can also have data type. That's the type, right? So let's have okay data type. So my array dot the type. Then we have the size, right? So my array dot size. Then we have the item size now. My array dot item size. So we could print out all this now and see how it goes now. We can see that our dimension is 1 and the shape is 5, and the shape is like this because it does not have any other dimension. So we will see this when we are working with two-dimensional array now. You see different, like data type is an integer now, that's int 32. I have the size now to be 5. That's because it contains 5 elements. Now we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 elements now, and the item size is 4. So as you said before, the item size is just like the size of each element in the array. That's the item size, right? So these are the attributes of the array now. So let's have a two-dimensional array, and we can see, okay, let's have it as my array2 here now. Have it as np.array. So we have it as this now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we just like, okay, let's print out this array. Okay, my array2 now, and let's print out my 2 dots the dimension, and let's see. So now we can see it this way. This is our array now. You can see it, we have it like this, and we also have like this, and we have it as two-dimensional array. So I personally like formatting my array this way for better visualization personally. If you try to print these properties, and let's just see it again for here, and let's just change all this to my array2. Okay, let's have it as 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here. So if I should run this now, you see it. So we have the dimension of 2 now. We have the shape now, 2, 3. So as you can see here now, the shape here was 5, right? That's because we have just 5 elements like this on the x-axis. And here now we have 2, 3, right? So we have 1, 2 now. That's 2 now. And each we have 1, 2, 3 now. So it's picking the row first. We have 2 rows and 3 columns. So the row comes first when telling us about the shape, then followed by the column. So that's how it works with it, and that's how I do it. So now we have the integer to also be 36, and I have the size to be 6. That's the size, that's the total element you have in it. So the size is 6 now. That's the total element you have in it. And the item size is still 4. That's element you have for just one. The size of just one single element there is still 4. So there are also some functions in NumPy array, like also have something like the 0 function and the arrange function. So we have the zeros and arrange function, and we can do some things with this. So the first I'm going to be doing here now is just like, okay, we have to create a dimension, an array that is all 0. Which is, let's say we want to create an array now of 2 rows and 3 columns now, just like this, but all the values inside are 0. That's where we use the 0 function. So we just say array now equals to np dot zeros. Then we have this top inside 2, 3. So we could just print out array now, and now we can see it now. But you might be wondering, why is there this point everywhere? So if you check the dimension, the data type of this array now, see that it's giving us as a float and not an integer. So that's one of the functions you can use in Python. The 0 function is giving us not an integer, and there is also one I forgot to add, and there's also ones, and this ones is just to create exactly the same thing here, but just like one. So I will just copy this and paste it here. But let me just name this 2, 2, and let's change this to ones. But now let's have it as 3 rows, 3 columns, right? So if I should print this now, you can see it, and if you should check the data type again, see that it's still float, right? So this is creating an array that is all populated with 1, and in this array now using 0 function are all populated with 0. So now if you have to use the arrange function, let me just have this as marked down now. This is the arrange function, and this is just to create an array full of numbers within some ranges of number. and we could have a step to it. So let me just add this as, okay, let's say we have array is equals to what now, np dot arrange, and let's say we want to create an array that is populated with values from 1 to 10. So by default, if you should print this out now, you see we have 1 to 10, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. That's just like 1 to 9. That is minus 1 from here. If you change this to 9, we see that we'll be having 1 to 8. So these are it works actually. So this arrange works like this, but if you want to have it like it's going to have some step, let's say we want to have like arrange 2 now, it goes to m dot, okay, mp dot. Okay, we have it something like, okay, let's say we have 1 to 20. I want it to have a step of 2. So it's going to start now, but it's going to have like a step of 2 each. So if we have this now, we have like AR2, and let's just print this out. You could see start from 1 now, then he added 2 to 1, that's 3, add 2 to it, that's 5. Just like that, giving us odd numbers. But if you change this to 0 now, you see that it's giving us even numbers, right? So these are it works to create one-dimensional arrays with a range. And if you check the data type of both the first array we created and the second array we created, consider they are both integer. But let's say we have something like this now as our third array, and we have np dot arrange. Okay, we have something like, okay, we have between 3 and 7. I have a step of 0.5, and now print out this AR3, and let's also print out the dimension. So we can see now we have 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5. So we're having it like this, and we can see that it is a float and not an integer like the previous ones. So these are it works. But let's now say we want to create a two-dimensional array. How do we do that? We just have like, okay, let me say I have my array. Can I just say we have, can I name this? Okay, let's say we have ARR. Okay, I'm telling you right now. We just have, we could call one of these array here. That's just AR dot reshape 1 to 10. That means we have, okay, 1 to 10, we have 1 to, we have 9 here. We could reshape it as 3, 3. And that means we want this to have, okay, let me just mix it out and see. We want this to have like 3 rows, 3 columns. Okay. Okay, let's check this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me just run this one more time. Okay. So now we see this. It's reshaping it now. But the thing is, wherever you're reshaping it, it must be a factor of that, of the size of the element before. So this is just the same thing as saying we have here 2 now equals to, we just have np dot arrange 1, 10, then we just call this function reshape to return. So if I should print this out now, you see that it's the same thing just like this other one. Now it's just the same thing, just because we've stored this in this variable before, right here. That's why I was able to call it like that. As I was able to call it like that. So if I could just change this to 9 now, you see that it will return an error because it says it cannot reshape an array of 8 into shape of 3 rows, 3 columns. So this will have to be either 2. If it's still 2, it won't work well. But if you change this now to 7, this will now be 6, right? Yeah, 6 values. So there's 2 and 3 are both factors of 6. So this is why this work well. But if I change this back to 8 now and I put 2, 4, where 2 and 4 are both factors of 8. you can see this now that it works quite alright. So that's how you create two-dimensional array from using a range function too. And this can also be just like here that we have how many elements we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we have 8 here too. We could just say, and this we have them as a have 3 dots. Okay, we just like reshape. So now let's reshape this now. We have okay 8 elements here now. We could just reshape it as 2, 4, right? I could just print it out. A have 2. Okay, you can see this. I see this work quite okay. I'm running something else. So we could see it like this now. It reshape it and it prints it out. So we had 2 and 3 are both factors of that. So we can see this work well. So next we are going to be working with indexing numpy arrays next. And let's see how it goes. So thank you very much. If you like what you've watched so far, don't forget to like this video and hit the subscribe button to watch more videos from me. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you can receive notification anytime I upload a new video on YouTube. Thank you very much.